Now that we're all set with our speech, we'll move on to the right action. In the world of sila. Of course, I'm kidding about now that we have it all right with our speech. We don't leave any of these things in the rearview mirror, do we? Um, yeah, they're such an important part. Every one of these is important, and everyone is important in Buddhist psychology. Yeah. So we stay with sila, and right action is next. And we'll spend some time on that, a week or two, probably. Right action. And the common denominators with all of these, of course, is non-harm. Yeah. Orienting toward non-harm. When in doubt, that's the inquiry. Is this something that leads to more harm or to less harm? Yeah. Whether it be in my speech, my action, and so forth. Yeah. Non-harm. Non-harm as we interface with the world. It's hard enough just sitting alone on our cushion and practicing non-harm. Yeah? Have you noticed that? And now it's interfacing with the world. I remember really appreciating the word upaya, the concept upaya early on. Skillful means. There was that sense that after practicing for a while, it would become intuitive. Skillful means the interface with others, either skillfully finding a way to invite them to do non-harm themselves, to move toward more closely to the Dharma in some way, that somehow magically, almost intuitively, the skill would be there, And as I looked closer into upaya, of course, one of the classic metaphors for that is a parent who comes home and finds his children happily playing, but the house is on fire, and they don't recognize that. And they won't listen to him because they're having so much fun. They're calling them out of the house, and they won't come out of the house. And so he has to entice them with things that are even more lovely than the things that they're playing with. Oh, come out here. I have this for you. I have this for you. And that's how he gets them to come out of the house. And that's supposed to be a metaphor for how we're going to engage with other people. We'll help them to move out of the burning house that they're in by the way that they're behaving and speaking and manifesting and stressing, and be able to invite them out into something more lovely, into the Dharma. I mean, it's such a lovely metaphor. It's just not my experience, It's just so much more complicated than that, isn't it? With others. Yeah. Yeah, it's so much more complicated, the interface with the world. And we know this. We know the limits of our love. We know the limits of our ability to transmit much of anything to other people. We can try to bring kindness. We can try to bring kindness, try to bring some restraint, try to bring kindness. But it's very complicated. In every situation, we may have the best idea, ideas about how I'm going to proceed with other people. And then someone pushes my buttons, or I go home for the holiday, and hang out with my family for a few days. And, we know how complex this can be. And one thing that occurred to me recently, I want to start here today and suggest this. One of the things that I'm completely clear about that is right action. It's always nice to find one thing that, this is right action. This is right action. And this is something that I can do regularly. It really didn't occur to me this clearly until last night when I was thinking about what will I start to say about right action. They're all humbling practices. But it never really occurred to me until last night. It's kind of obvious that meditating on a daily basis is right action. It's so clear to me because I've been through, as all of us have been, through periods where practice is intermittent. The intermittent practitioner, I know that so well. Some days I do, some days I don't. I'd kind of like to, but I'm just not, I miss some days. Sometimes I miss many days, right? Have we all been there? But over time, I have really observed, and really in the most self-honest way, I have seen that on days when I meditate, the universe is better off to have me as part of it. In other words, I'm more likely to be a little bit more patient, a little more kind, a little crankier, a little less cranky, a little less wound up in general, just a little less agitated, a little less of that intense energy in here. If I sit, even if the meditation is what I used to call a bad meditation, oh, that was not a good meditation. Sometimes bad meditations are some of the best because, for the benefit of other beings, I'm cooking out some of this cranky stuff that is now less likely to come out in my interactions with others. Just the willingness to sit down, and be with what's going on. And if it's lovely, great. If I can settle, great. If it's not lovely, I'm still cooking some stuff out. That's how it was for me this morning. I'm all worried too about what's going on in the world and what's going to happen these next 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm really concerned about that. And that was rolling through. I was really agitated when I meditated this morning. But it was still right action. And I'm still likely to be able to be more present today, a little less cranky today, a little kinder today. And so for me, I invite this all for your own inquiry, because we've all been through these times where we don't meditate, to begin to just notice, is it so or not for you that meditation is right action? But it's been an important discovery for me, which is why I don't have any days anymore when I don't meditate. It's actually one of the things that finally moves me from intermittent meditation to daily meditation, because I couldn't deny any longer that it was supportive in my interactions with other people, all by itself, because I was more likely, even when something rough would come up, to take a pause. If I'd meditated that morning before I spoke, before I just launched into that quick reaction, and then we go, that's not what I wanted to say. I'm not as likely to say that thing if I've meditated. There's still then the whole world of, well, how do I respond? How don't I respond? How do I move through the world today? Which is why we're going to spend some time on right action, because it is complex. But for me, the starting point is meditating in the morning, before all the pistons get firing, before everything starts coming, just taking that time, taking that time. I appreciate more and more Pascal's quote. So much of the world's problems stem from the inability of a person to sit in a room alone. Yeah. And I think some of them, at least in my experience, are alleviated by sitting in the room alone, by sitting in a room or together, but sitting alone, sitting. Yeah. I use this metaphor sometimes. It's the shower metaphor. I'll say, I can get away with not taking a shower for a day sometimes. I can get away with that. Yeah. The universe doesn't notice too much. If I go 2 days or more, though, that's like that with meditation. I used to think I can get away with not meditating for a day, and I'm still a good person, in the world. Couple days, not so much. So anyway, I didn't know I was going to start here until yesterday, but I think right action may begin. I know it does for me with meditation itself. Yeah, with just forming the intention, the self-statement that comes with, no, I'm going to take some time here and try to bring non-harm here, first of all. See how I do with that this morning? Yeah. So,